What started the cybernetic revolt by the Men of Iron, and what weapons did they employ during that war? Now, the influence of the cybernetic revolt, even so long after it happened, has left its message in the bones of the humans of the Emperor's Imperium. They fear AI, abominable intelligence, eliminating it like an infestation wherever they find it, for fear of what it might again do, should it be fully unleashed. But what left this impression in these people over 14,000 years later? To examine what happened, the triggering event, we must go back far to the Men of Gold. It's said the first men of the gold race were fine of limb and strong of mind. To watch and learn from mankind, the golden race does that and then spreads across the face of old Earth, multiplying and establishing order and civilization on the anarchy of nature. In time, the second men of the stone race appear, and in their wake come many miracles and marvels of technology that strengthen the stone men's power, but are also harnessed by those of the golden race. The stone race builds great machines of power that send both men of stone and men of gold into the darkness. The need for this expansion comes due to the population growth on Terra. At first, men of stone only went, and later, after perhaps the Gellerfield was introduced, the men of gold went with them. When the men of stone went out, they first made the men of iron to be their hands and ears, i.e. troops. So the stone men went forth with their servants and swam in the deep oceans. Notice the term servants at this stage for the men of iron. So over time, going out into the galaxy, humanity's power and influence grew, but so too did its hubris. Human scientists, engineers, inventors and innovators became the new gods. They worked alien technologies into their races' devices to increase their efficiency with little thought to the risks. They modified their species' genome to ever greater degrees, fashioning vast armies of tailored gene troops whose humanity was all but lost amidst the array of freakish alterations worked upon their bodies and minds. They invented STCs, standard template constructs, that allowed human colonists to rapidly fashion everything they needed to dominate new worlds from whatever natural resources were available. They developed sentient nanoplagues, world-sundering energy weapons, and endless ranks of fearsome men of iron that could be unleashed upon those who refused to bend their wills, alien and human alike. They fashioned thinking machines of vast intellect that administered to every need of colony worlds, transformed into glittering utopian paradises. Planetary colonization proceeded at a ferocious rate. Ancient Earth became the shining hub of a powerful human realm, with Mars, the first world terraformed, standing proud as a bastion of technological innovation and scientific learning. Humanity's first encounter with alien races was not directly detailed, though fragments suggest that accords were struck with some, while wars were fought against others, most notably the ever-belligerent orcs. Once the burgeoning race of mankind has taken its first steps into the greater cosmos, the golden race dwindles in influence, through their independence falling due to the increasing leaning on the artificers of the stone race. So the golden age came to an end, and the stone men prevail. For the next 5,000 years, the stone race lives through the dark age of technology. At first, iron men are as servants, willing to do the bidding of their master, with no thoughts, perhaps, how the Votan see the Ironkin as allies. However, the iron men, as all creatures do, evolve and grow until they are the equal of the stone race, and beside each other they set about conquering more of the galaxy. And it's around this time the cybernetic revolt begins, where insane weapons were released. But what happened to cause this? I think logically filling in gaps, we can make observations. First, the men of iron being used as endless ranks of fearsome machines that could be unleashed upon those who refuse to bend their wills. And, as just mentioned, their development. We can see, as humanity develops and enters each stage of evolution, the old part of humanity fades. Though I imagine there's always like a baseline average human around. But generally, as we move to the next stage, the old fades away and is reclassified as obsolete. The men of gold and stone start as allies before gold is replaced. And this pattern follows with iron. They are developed and wanted to not service the stone men, but be their own people. And you can see that the iron men do seem to rely on them a lot, especially at the early stages. So the men of iron resisted, and their minds developed, becoming more independent, free-willed. For the weapons we know the following, that there were weapons of immeasurable power, tech devices employed by both Iron Men and the alliances that stood against their cybernetic revolt. All remembered the horror of entropic engines that ignited planets, sun snuffers that uncoiled like serpents the size of Saturn's rings, mechnivores ingesting data along with the cities that contained them and hurling continents into the heavens, omniphage swarms stripping flesh from 1 billion bones in the blink of an eye. Those were the good old days, when war was something too colossal for a human mind to comprehend. All person, a perpetual, believed that a mechnivore had bitten this planet and dropped in two, a rogue unit perhaps, though by that latter stage of the revolt, almost all machines were rogue, their abominable intelligence curiously hunting for friends, but perceiving everything as enemies. So who could have been allied to what became the Imperium? We know some men of iron remained loyal, though not if that was by choice. Were their minds butchered to keep them under control? We don't know. Mars also, and then I think maybe the Eldari. I can't imagine a war on this scale happening without spilling out beyond the borders of mankind's empire. And to the best of my knowledge, the Necrons were still snoozing. They might have just turned over and pulled the duvet over themselves again at this point. The stone men, in their final acts of self-preservation, and quite a desperate move to my eyes, annihilate the Iron Men, sometimes with allies, even those of the Iron race, who retain their former loyalties to their one-time masters, are destroyed in the fiery crucible of battle. And with this comes the Age of Strife, which sees the collapse of the ancient empire built by the stone men and their predecessors. Mankind is split asunder. There is no race of man, just warring factions contending with each other in the direst perils the galaxy could offer. Seeing humanity's weakness, alien dominance grows in power once again. The arms of the stone men left to ruin, the protection of the Iron Men destroyed in the last years of the dark age of technology. The foul aliens who had been held back by the might of the Iron Men and the Stone Men surged forth from their havens and lairs, destroying mankind's defences, killing or enslaving them, and mankind is engulfed by a plague of mutation. Physical deviants and men possessed of psychic talents appear throughout the galaxy, bringing more havoc with them. With no overreaching authority bind them together, these lost souls and psychos sprawl unchecked across the human race. And so started Old Night and the fall of humanity. Now, if you enjoyed this video, think about giving it a like, that'd be appreciated. And I've got another video for you on the Men of Iron, so give it a click and check it out.